Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This report is an end of day report for trading on Monday, June the 27th, 2016. The market tried to recover from last week's Brexit vote and was unsuccessful in doing so. For most of the day, the pound sterling stayed down about 500 points all day. The Dow stayed down about 200 points all day. And as you can see here, the central banks in their panic and nervousness did their best to keep the US dollar propped up. This coincides with the Bitcoin as well, being propped up, as you can see here, staying above the 640 line. It should also be noted that the US dollar is at 96.55. Those of you who have been following and watching know that the US dollar right before the Brexit vote hit 92 handle. And now here we are at 96.55. Amazing liquidity pump into the dollar to keep this market propped up. All the other currencies have been getting beat down. Even the Aussie has been red. The euro obviously has been beat down too. As you can see, the manipulation has now taken a new level. Let me show you what I mean here. This here is the volatility index, the TVIX ETF, and you're looking at an intraday chart. As you can see, the market started off back here. This is back on Friday. And now here we are today. We spiked up on that vote Friday. Market came down here. And you can see we just went, tracking higher, right? Here's what happened. Once we hit here around 10 a.m., the volatility index was held down all day long despite the Dow hitting a new intraday low. Then the Dow tested the low. Here, as the Dow was testing the low, the VIX got attacked and saw heavy selling, getting all the way down to the 322 handle after rocketing up to 367 and 368 down to 322, just like that. It should be noted that only the volatility shares got hit. The VXX, the UVXY, and the TVIX all got hit. Even the VIX futures took a hit while the Dow was hitting new lows. Then, as soon as the 4 o'clock bell rings, what happens? They take their foot off the neck of the volatility shares and allow them to pop up to 371 on the TVIX before settling to 354, as you see here. Incredible total manipulation at its finest. The last bastion of hope is the volatility shares. As long as you can make it seem as if volatility is coming down and that panic does not exist, then it will make people say, let me go ahead and start buying some shares. But that's not what happened. The Dow started to sell off into the close. And while that was happening, they had to beat down the volatility share because they knew this would have spiked through the roof. And then in the after hours shares, you don't have that many people actively trading, so then that's when they took their hand off of it and they let it shoot up. Meanwhile, they kept the dollar propped up, and it's been a well-controlled demolition. It's almost as if this entire Brexit thing was planned from the beginning. There's no more liquidity that can be pumped into the stock market. There is absolutely nothing they can do at this point. You can't lower rates beyond zero because then you go negative, and then that doesn't do anything to stimulate. Okay, and they've already tried that. It's not happening. Negative interest rates do not help to stimulate. You have to get some kind of return on your money. And so what happens? People say, I'm not going to put my money in the equity market, and they pull it out and they try to find some kind of safe haven like gold and silver, okay, and the Bitcoin. Now take a look at what's been happening with the gold and silver. Here you are in the gold and silver. This gold and silver chart looks exactly like the volatility index. To the T. Look at that. To the T. Almost looks like a duck with a bill. Look at that. To a T, it mimics the volatility index. This is gold. Look at this. Held it at bay. Would not let it do anything. Just held it at bay. Here's silver. Looks identical to the gold intraday. Identical. And here's our final proof of the manipulation. As you can see here, this is the VIX futures, and look at the chart. You saw the VIX futures, you saw the gold, you saw the silver, identical chart. Price action identical. How do you explain that? This is the VIX futures. I showed you the TVIX. What more proof do you need that the central banks have taken over and this is a controlled demolition? You've seen the VIX chart, you've seen the gold, you've seen the silver. I even showed you the Bitcoin. They all look identical. It's the same chart. Now look at the dollar. These are all similar price patterns, except for they put a little bit more into the dollar. So instead of it elongating out, it elongates out and then up a little bit. But it's the same chart pattern. They're all being held with the dollar. They're letting the dollar up while the other ones come down. Now explain that to me. The Dow is down several $100, almost $1,000 within, that's a dollars, almost within 1,000 points in the last 2 days. And you have the dollar going up and gold and silver and Bitcoin, and you have the volatility shares and the VIX futures, all the same pattern. That can only be done through manipulation at the switch level, at the exchanges, done by a central bank location. Either that or a multi-trillionaire. You do the math. You follow the money and figure it out. Moving on. Here's your oil. Oil, just a steady decline. Steady decline. It should be noted that when the oil was hitting $150 a barrel back in 2008, everyone and their mama was crying foul, saying you're collapsing the world economies with these high prices of oil. Something has to be done. And then right when they were ready, they pulled the plug and let the price collapse back down to $30, $40 a barrel. Well, same thing here. What do? We put our necks on the we put our boots on the necks of Saudi Arabia until they agreed to play ball. We let the price collapse to levels that was just bankrupting the oil producing nations. And then when they finally agreed to sign and go into debt through the IMF and the World Bank and their central banking system, when they agreed to fall in line, we finally allowed the price to go up, but not that much. Now we're making it come back down again. Almost as if we lied to them after we made them sign these debt agreements. Now look, head fake, psych, we lied, and now here's the price coming back down again. Unbelievable manipulation. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Notice how your stock market is following the petrodollar. The Dow and the oil chart looks identical. The stock market is moving with the oil. They're allowing this well-designed, well-planned decline. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's like marching in order, like little kids standing in line in the hallway, following a single file line. This is what this is: a single file line. An orderly process. They're doing this on purpose. Remember, hurt as many people as possible. Alright, so here's your 401k and your retirement being decimated before your eyes. And there's nothing you can do about it because they made you afraid of the markets. You were afraid to trade back in 2000 when the NASDAQ bubble popped and people lost their shirt because all they did was they were going long stocks. They were never taught how to short stocks correctly. So you were told to buy and hold and things of that nature. So while the bubble was bursting in your face, you held your shares until they dropped back down to zero. Poor saps who bought Yahoo at 23, watched it go to 300 and held it and didn't take profit, watched their price drop below the entry price of $23, and you lost everything. And they will never get back up to that price again. It's too bad, too late. This is what they do. They screw as many people as possible who don't understand the game, who don't understand how to play the game. Yes, the markets are rigged. Shut up and stop crying about it and benefit from it. That doesn't stop you from going to Las Vegas, does it? We all know that Vegas is rigged. The house always wins in the end, but yet thousands of people flock there and spend their money. So don't cry about something being rigged. We know sports are rigged. They're rigged in several different ways. Some athletes take steroids and all this enhancement drugs so that they can perform better. But that still doesn't stop other people from competing against them. All right? You know that the other guy is way stronger and faster, but you still compete. And people still gamble and bet on those outcomes as well. So yes, the markets are rigged. And they're not rigged in your favor if you are foolish and don't understand how to play the game. Learn how to play the game and you will profit. If you refuse wisdom, you will get smoked. It's just how it is, folks. I will end the video with a surprising twist. Now, I showed you a moment ago that the powers that be want to hurt as many people as possible, and they want to trick the public into thinking that everything is okay post-Brexit, but it is not. In the interim, in the short term, this is what they're going to do. I have a volatility alert that says that we can see a rally in the Nikkei for this week. We do not know the extent of the power of the so-called rally, just that it's going to happen. You cannot see that looking at this chart. You can see nothing to buy here on this chart. The algorithms have nothing to do with that. They pick up what you can't see with your naked eye. And I'm here to tell you to watch the sheet, watch the crash alerts, and watch the rally alerts for this week and see what happens. Those of you who've been following for the last several months, you have noticed and seen that those rally alerts and crash alerts are no joke. I warned you. I told you. You cannot ignore them. You ignore them at your own peril. So, what does this all mean? To sum it all up, I believe that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. That's why they've been playing around and manipulating certain price action so that the public won't panic. So I believe that they have lost control per se of the market's overall direction. The only thing they can do is try to hide and mask things and lie and try to deceive the public. All day today on Bloomberg they had Alan Greenspan on talking. Why did you think Alan Greenspan spent the whole day on Bloomberg? You've never seen him on Bloomberg before prior to now. You've never even seen him on there for a whole day prior to now. The last time you saw his face is because he was in office. He was the chairman, the Fed chairman. He hasn't been the Fed chairman now in years. Why is he on there? Why don't you have the current Fed chairman on there? You want to know why? Because Alan Greenspan is the embodiment of the market. Alan Greenspan was behind the wheel back in the go-go 90s with the Clinton administration, where we saw the most incredible bull market ever of all time. So they bring him back because they know that a lot of the old heads, which have all the money and control things, will see that and it will give calmer minds to see Mr. Greenspan on TV. Oh, yes. Oh, well, if he's on there, then everything is definitely okay. I can stop selling now. And I'm going to be fine. I'm going to start buying some shares. Meanwhile, what you don't understand and what you don't get is he's only there to try to quiet the storm. This is their last ditch effort. This is all they really can do. Once they know that once the people wake up and see that they're being lied to, they're going to dump every share they can get their hands on. They're going to go to cash. They don't want you to go to cash. They don't want you to suck your money out of the system. They don't want Dow 600. They want Dow 600,000. So as long as you guys continue to drink the Kool-Aid, that's what's going to happen. But understand, okay, you'll get your Dow 600,000, but in the blink of an eye, it's going to go to Dow 600. You're going to make them rich, and then they're going to dump it on your head. So keep your eyes and ears open. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. So take what you can and give nothing back. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Vulcan Report. This is an intraday report for trading on Wednesday, June the 29th, 2016. It's about 1:45 right now. And this report is going to show you and document the explosion in the price of silver, while the gold price has been somewhat kept at bay. Just the other day, Alan Greenspan was on Bloomberg all day. Not just as a special guest, but as you can see, he's wearing a headset. All right, he's working. His job was to put an end to the stock market slide and create a V-shaped recovery. Hence the title, all major U.S. indices extend year-to-date losses to more than 1%. Well, that was 2 days ago. Now we have this silver price explosion. Not only did silver manage to get above the $18 threshold, but it exploded past it to $18.52. Now here we are at $18.38. Markets holding steady intraday. Just a total explosion in price. Meanwhile, gold is flat. It is dead in the water in price. Now, let's pause and discuss what is happening in these metals. As you all know, unless you've been hiding under a rock or you're brand new to the realities of the news, you would know that the precious metals have been manipulated and has been outed already. That most of the institutional Wall Street players have been involved, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and of course the infamous Deutsche Bank came out and said, yes, we've been manipulating the gold and silver prices. Yes, we've been keeping those markets suppressed. Well, here's what's happened now. As a result of their continued collapsing of the precious metal prices going back as early as 2012, here's what's now happened. We now have what is possibly now going forward going to be a permanent dislocation in the paper price from the physical metal price. That's correct. What you're seeing here is indicated by the intraday chart on the gold futures. It would look as if there was some buying and now it's just kind of like leveled off. That's not necessarily true. What's been happening is, and for lack of a better analogy, as with stocks, we have dark pools. Well, dark pools don't exist in futures. The futures markets exchanges are what they are. All right. So just like with Globex, trading the E-mini S&P 500, Globex is Globex. There's no black box. There's no dark pools for trading futures. It's just wide open. But yet you have dark pools when it comes to trading stocks. Well, the only exception is the precious metals. Precious metals do have sort of like a synthetic dark pool, if you will. It's called physical. What is happening is the physical price is being hoarded by institutional wealth funds, countries are buying it up as much as they can get their hands on. There's been such a flurry of activity in the past couple of years that countries have been asking the United States of America for their gold back. Everyone's in a rush to grab the precious metals. They want their gold back. Okay, Germany wants its gold back. China's been just grabbing as much physical gold as it can get its hands on, to the point where there's pretty much nothing you can do. If you haven't really stacked gold and silver, then you're probably not going to be able to get your hands on any. All right, it's very hard now. It's been that way for some time. As the price got lower, getting more and more was difficult. Everyone knows that the price was been held at bay and everything, but no one really knows why. No one has really hit the nail on the head. It's sort of like the 9/11 question. Everyone knows it was an inside job, but the big question is why? Why would they do that? Why would they kill so many people? And then when you get the answer, you can't take it. You can't handle the answer because it's too overwhelming, such as depopulation agenda, such as being able to set up the New World Order, such as being able to get an unlimited defense budget so we could go and attack other countries, take their their oil and their rare earth metals and whatever else we can get our hands on, whatever natural resources that we wanted. We use that as a pretext to war to go get it. Okay, so that's what that was about. People can't handle that. They can't process that. Well, likewise with the gold and silver market. Why was that done? Why was the price of it suppressed? The answer is right in your face. The reason the physical price on the paper market has been attacked and suppressed is so that they could buy it on the international market and get it for cheap. This was a smash and grab job by the elites, by the central banks, to suck up all the physical. Now, there's been a lot of people talking, all the talking heads, and some of the people I even respect have come out and said, well, they're doing that, because they're secretly creating a gold backed fiat currency or whatever. We're going back to a gold standard. No, we're not. What's happening is this. It's a little bit more sinister than that, unfortunately. They don't want any of the rats to run out of the maze. They want everyone to go into the new currency, which is a fiat currency, but it's going to be the mother, the father, the granddaddy of all fiat currencies. It's the new digital electronic age. It's a digital biometric control grid that has a digital biometric control currency attached to it. All right, I've done a video series on that, but not going back into that. I want to stay focused on what I'm saying here. So what's happening is if they snatch up all the physical, then that will shut down the black market. See, they're already planning ahead, and because when they bring down the old system to bring up the new one, all right, you're going to be thinking, oh, it's a crash, it's an economic crash because of the debt, because of this. No, it's not. That's the outwork. That's the precursor. That's what they're using to explain what's happening, so that you'll buy it, so that you'll go along with it. You'll say, yeah, the economy collapsed because of all the debt. No, they collapsed it. They did that. They wanted to use that as an excuse, something that you could rationally, mathematically elevate to in your mind. Because the real truth you wouldn't be able to handle. The real truth that they wanted to do away with this system because they can't really control it the way they want to, on the level that they want to. They can't spy on you with a piece of a piece of paper. A $20 bill, they can't spy on you with that. A $20 bill can't give them your heart rate. All right, it can't tell them if you're on drugs or not. It can't read your iris. It can't do all the things that they want the new money to be able to do. So they have to do away with it. So if they just came on TV and told everyone that, they had a press conference and the president told you that, you wouldn't be able to handle it. Okay, so that's why they're using all these other things that are natural and understandable. Your professors and your universities understand the relationship between debt and burden and taxation and causation and inflation and deflation and all these terms they want to throw around. But we're operating under something that's not really technically textbook economics. We're already in a new world order. It's just not been formally announced. We've already been there. We're already in the new control grid system. They're just adding on the different layers of it incrementally so that you won't detect what's going on. They're doing everything in stages. Like one of the last stages we saw is them erecting these secret towers that look like cell phone towers, but they're really not. They're spy boxes, and you see them in pretty much every major city, especially any Agenda 21 city. You see these white boxes high up on the telephone poles that don't look like anything you've ever seen before. They're not power boxes, they're not any of that, and they have cameras attached to them. And these special cameras can hear, and they can also see with them as well. So in a nutshell, what am I saying? The silver price explosion is going to continue. However, the gold price is going to sorely lag because of the disconnect between the physical and the paper markets. It's been destroyed through all the manipulation. The price has been suppressed so that the power elite can suck up all the physical and make it impossible for the little guy to get his hands on any. Pretty soon what's going to happen is, and it's really, you're already seeing this already, you're going to see where the physical price is going to decouple from the paper price, and it's the exchange that actually makes the price, right? But you're going to see these incredible spreads. You haven't seen anything yet. You'll see, like an example today, looking at this chart right here, where you see gold at 1328.80. All right, that's the paper price right now, right? But if you were to try to go to, like, let's just use I'm not singling this company out. I actually like this company, but I'm just using it for an example. Let's say you were to go to APMEX. You go online and you want to buy a coin or two. Instead of you seeing a price of the 1328.80 with a little bit of a spread attached to it, let's just say the price will be 30.50, just 13.50, just round it up. Okay, let's say that's normal, a spread like that, a $20-$30 spread on gold. Let's just use that as an example. Instead of seeing that, you may see a $100 spread on there. You may see a $200, $300, $400, $500 spread on there, $1,000 spread on there. And the reason it's going to be is because it's going to be almost impossible for these agencies to get their hands on the physical, because all the big players are taking and sucking it up. So you're going to see a huge disconnect between the paper and the physical, and it's coming right around the corner because all of the physical supply has pretty much been all wiped up right underneath everyone's noses. That's why they've oppressed the price for these past couple of years so that they could take the time to round it all up. It's sort of like going around the bend. They know they can't just pass a law out, saying turn in your gold and silver is illegal. This is not the 1930s where the average citizen is going to walk into the bank or wherever and turn their gold in. No way. They know that would never fly. So what do? They say, we'll just go ahead and we'll just suck it all up. Just take away all the inventory. So it's just like with the gun thing. Instead of them just coming out and just banning and outlawing firearms in general, the government says, we'll just buy up all the bullets. And we'll do it under each agency. Because if we just went ahead and just did it at one agency, one department, it would look more suspicious than it already is. So we'll let the FDA get a few million rounds, and we'll let the Postal Service get a few million rounds, and Department of Energy, Department of whatever. We'll let all the different departments. Hey, let the Medicare department get some too. Why not? Just so they can take it out of inventory and make it difficult for you to get your ammunition. So they say, okay, we can't outlaw guns. We can sure enough buy up all the ammunition. So that's a way of outlawing it without outlawing it. Get it? All right, that's how government works. So in a nutshell, at the end of the day, your silver price is expected to move a lot higher in the short term. I see around 22 possibly. The gold should continue much stay flat just where it is and trade within a range of 1260 to 1360 for the foreseeable future. That's pretty much where you are. As a matter of fact, it is possible for the gold price on the paper market to even collapse and fall a couple of $100 from here. So just tread lightly. Also, I will be doing a follow-up video to this one, going over the Brexit and looking at some things that you're probably not paying attention to, aware of, or have not heard of. So in the meantime, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. Remember to take what you can, give nothing back. Peace. By now, you would think that the elite are watching my videos. You're looking at a 1-minute chart. I want you to see the blatant disregard for law and order that happened in the gold market. Just as I warned you in my video that I made just only a short time ago today, I told you that the bandits will be continuing to raid the gold market so that they could buy the physical for cheap. It's how the game is being played right now. Look at this closing bar. As you can see, all day long, they allowed the gold to stand still, stand down, couldn't do anything, and then they crashed it into the close. And what you're looking at is a parabolic bar here on the close, on the actual closing bell, the closing print, if you will. All right, 1321.30. They crashed it down to 1312 in a minute. That's the most this market has moved all day. All right. So you basically have a $10 run, in gold after being standing still, basically levitating in midair. They run it down, they crash it down to 1312. But that's not the issue. The issue is, look at this final print right here. All right? This print right here says 1311.8 actually. From there, it jumps all the way up back to 1320.10. No, look at this air pocket. There is no trade. There's no print in between. It just goes from the 1311.80 to 1320.10. Massive, massive pimperation there. How do you do nothing, and then on the closing print you drop from 1321 to 1311, and then in a split second go from 1311 next trade 1320? How do you do that? Can anyone explain that? No, you cannot. No, you cannot. No, you can't. Now, this is how it looks on your hourly chart. See the spike down? Crashed it on the close and then brought it right back up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look at this. Price destruction. And the last half of the day, price destruction. Here you go right here. Massive pimperation. I mean, we already know the metals have been manipulated, but now they're just doing it right in your face. They're just pushing the price around, doing whatever they want right in your face. Here's your GLD. Do you see anything like that in the GLD? The ETF? No, you don't. Yeah, you do see a bit of selling into the close, but it's only it's not even $1. It's like 20 cents basically. All right, not a biggie, not a biggie, not a biggie at all. Nothing to write home about. But you can see the paper market got destroyed. Your ETF and your stocks are fine, because this is not reflective necessarily of the gold price per se, like the futures market is, where you take physical delivery. You see where I'm going with this? Pimperation at its best. Your gold gets slapped down right after my video. What did I say in my video before this one? I said your silver is going to be fine, but your gold could be smacked down probably about another $100. And then look what happens. Look at the shenanigans. Now let me show you something else. All right, final hour of closing for the silver. You have a rally. I tried to tell you. Look at this. This is a rally. All right, final hour of trading. Gold, you got a crash. You don't believe me? Look at the 1-minute chart on the closing bell for the silver. Here you go. Here it is right here. Right here, live and direct. This is your 1-minute chart showing you what's up. Any questions? I don't think so. Look at this parabolic bar in the opposite direction for the silver, running from 1835 to 1841. Look at that. I tried to tell you that that is exactly what was going to happen. I didn't think it would happen right in our face, blatantly on the closing bell today, but here you have it. With all this excitement, I forgot the most important part. Hi, welcome to this edition of the Vulcan Report. This is the end of day report for trading on Wednesday, June the 29th, 2016. And you're looking at a chart of silver. I don't think any more needs to be said, do you? Major rescuing has taken place in the stock market today, with the Dow finishing up 384 points. Dow futures, what a movement we had today. And you did have some buying going into the close here, but it's still pretty bullish. That's a lot of power in that market. And one thing should be noted here is that your S&P finished up 45 points. Your NASDAQ futures finished up 98 points. And your Russell finished up 24 points. And your Nikkei is finishing up 65 overall. And really, that's not really right because it was really up like, you figure from like 600, I'll say 700 to 875. It's like 175 points, something like that. But nevertheless, this is what you have here. So as you can see, they switched algos today. They spent the last 2 days rescuing the dollar. Now that the dollar is where they needed to be, they switched their focus to the equity market. And as you can see, they let the dollar go, selling into the close here with the dollar. And as you can see here, they let the oil fly with strong bids going into the close, getting back up to that $50 mark. Exactly what I told you they were going to do in the prior video. What did I say? I said this was going to happen. They're going to push the oil back to $50, and here you go. So, once again, I told you so. Once again, if you're not trading with the pulse waves, what are you doing with your life? If you're not making money in these markets, you need to stop, fire yourself, and you need to hire me. Come on over to the Black Ops Trading Room and see what real market timing is all about. And with that said, bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. Remember to take what you can, give nothing back.